The sun was like the way that they used to draw suns in cartoons with the perfect, sprigs coming out or whatever, the sunbeams coming out of all the different parts of the sun.
Yeah.
It was outrageous. I mean, all you needed was like some humpback whales to go swimming by. It was ridiculous. It looked, I'm like, what are we doing? It was another what are we doing moments. I had a lovely weekend. Made some beef soup on a Saturday night.
Fantastic job,
which is just delightful. Everybody was very happy with that. We and then I took in obviously some Yellowstone yesterday and just it was a relaxing weekend. It was nice. But I will say that you feel it on a Sunday without football, and to know that we've got one more Sunday with a game and then forget it is not great. I mean, we had the Olympics, and I really enjoyed watching the luge.
Now, did you watch it in the morning in real time, or did you try watching it at night?
No, I watched it the morning during the day. Yeah, prime time's Yellowstone only.
My wife was trying to get me to watch it last night with the boys because they're into skiing now, and she skis with them, and so they were watching, and it was. I found it impossible to watch because I already knew what happened with Michaela Sifrin. Like I knew what happened. It happened in the morning. So the time, what I'm finding is just confirmation of what I've always felt, that sports must be watched live.
That's right.
Which is why you're getting $290 million a team in the NFL on the new TV deal.
That's right.
Because you have to watch it in the moment. If you don't watch it for me, if I don't watch it in the moment, I can't. And I've tried to do this with other sports, like the Buckeye basketball game was on yesterday while we were playing one of our games, and I had it DVR'd, and then I go to watch it, and what I find myself doing is just
fast forwarding. Get me live.
Okay, we're up 10, up 12. Okay, they win. Okay, great. But I'm not watching it.
No.
And that's how it is with all sports with me. I cannot DVR it.
That's why when I had the dinner with the Feudies, I made the right call to bring the iPad.
Had to
do it. Had to be live. Couldn't stay in a cone of silence. And you're right. Your viewing experience is different when it's not. The Olympics, I realize they want to put stuff in prime time, but they got to figure out a way to have that be live. It's all got to be live. You got to watch it live.
Well, I think you can. I just think it's on like Peacock app, and then it's on like their other
Peacock app.
Things in the morning, and you just. But I don't know. I guess what I'm interested in is if where we are now with whether it's World Cup or Olympics, the majority of these things are quite frankly in corrupt countries. I mean, let's be real honest. It's China, it's Russia, it's Qatar. Like that's where a lot of this stuff is going because they're bidding for it and they're using it, as propaganda to cover the wrongs that they're making in whatever realm you want to call it.
Sure.
And so those things are in multiple time zones away.
Yeah.
Other than the United States hosting an Olympics, and I think we're up for one in a few years on the summer side. Other than that, there's not going to be another one in South America. That was done. Brazil did it. They lost their shirt. They're not doing another one. Canada may get another winter one at some point.
Sure.
Probably. But that's it.
That's it.
So everything else, you're going to be dealing with this time zone change. It's brutal.
It is brutal. What struck me about when I was watching some of the luge, which I enjoy. That stuff is some of my favorite. What I think they need to do, because did you watch any of the luge?
I'm familiar with it.
Okay. I don't understand what somebody is doing differently than somebody else that makes them better at luging. It feels like they take off and then the track takes them like they're on a water slide. And I realize I got a water slide you could try to maybe lean in turns or something like that. What I think would be very fun for them to do is just take like Joe Schmohawk, strap him on the luge, so we see like what happens if you don't know what you're doing. Which I understand is going to be a crash, but like, will he just slide down? Would he? Right? Would he just slide down? But
like, if I strapped you onto a luge, how many seconds would you be behind an Olympic gold medalist?
That's what I want to know.
That's fascinating. I like that.
My guess is I don't finish the track, but they're not talking like they were talking. Oh, turn 13. This is a tough. And what does he have to do? Does he have to shift his body somewhere? Does he have to like really?
Is he leaning?
Is he pulling?
Is
he pushing? Right. What's he doing? It doesn't look like it. Looks like they're lying on a thing that is just they're being hurtled down a very well-groomed, perfect track.
Yeah, it does.
And
bobsled, there's some steering and some braking. I think there is in that, but in the luge and in the skeleton, it appears you're just going.
You're just going
all out.
So like, I want to know. Yeah,
it's a fantastic question. Maybe there's somebody out there listening who can help us on the social because I don't have an answer for you.
Because, like, when you're skiing downhill, like, I understand those people have to make the turns. And it's insane. You have to physically do it. But this is in a pretty good track. I imagine the track, don't you think it gets grooved over time, too?
Yeah, I would think it would. Just follow it.
Because are they constantly Zamboniing it? I don't know.
It's a great question. No, and I think that would add value to it because I don't understand.
Like, that's what I wanted to, like, sign me up. I'll try it. I'm not afraid. I might end up with probably a broken leg or something. I feel like.
I don't think you would. I think you'd be okay.
Don't you think you could just turn over, though, and then, like, but you're in a lot of gear.
You're in gear. Yeah, you got a helmet on.
Yeah.
I think you could just.
I'm just curious.
I honestly would like an answer to that because I don't know.
Because I know what Joe Schmohawk running the 100-meter dash against Olympians looks like. I know what, like, Joe Schmohawk playing basketball against the Olympic teams. Joe Schmohawk skiing. I know what that looks like. Fail.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to see Joe Schmohawk also do a ski jump. That I'm curious about. Like, how are we talking?
That would
does
be
he
death,
get, like,
I think that would be death.
Does he get half as far?
Oh, I think you could have, like, paralysis, I think. If you put one of those guys down one of those and then they go up, I think that ends terribly.
And then they end up going backward.
I think most Joe Schmohawks wouldn't even be able to go down and then, like, they'd
It's on a real nice track, though. It's as wide as your skis.
You start to shake. I just think, that ends poorly.
And I've decided of all the snowboarding events, my favorite's the one, like, where they all race at the same time.
For sure. The problem with all of those is I don't understand, like, they give them points for what they're doing and everything looks the same to me.
Yeah, no, I just want start and time, the end.
I like everything that doesn't have a judge.
Preach.
All the judges out. Then now you're onto something. You're absolutely onto something.
Back in the days of Greg Louganis, I was a big fan of diving, but it is also very subjective in the way that they score these dives.
As a kid, you just would look at the amount of splash. It was a big deal.
Easy.
Like there was hardly
there
any.
was no splash there.
No splash. He really.
How do they do that?
I don't know. You swam. How'd you do it? You must just get.
You got to be. It's got to be perfect. It's got to. Yeah, it's a whole to do.
How do the hands have to be? Do you know?
Yeah, they usually are like this, but when they go off of those from that high up, you can like break your wrist. So your hands have to be like. Sometimes they put them together like this. It's craziness.
Yeah. Yeah. So, no, this is our reality now. This is our reality because we don't have the NFL. So
and we can't go golf.
No, you're not golfing. You're going to golf April 29th.
Don't even say that.
April 29th.
Stop it. I'm golfing in
Let's talk the official.
That weekend. Official. It's the NFL draft.
Yeah. Official. Just even I give up a random date and you got to just pour on the rain on the parade. When is official meteorologist of Cleveland Browns Daily? Don't we have more snow this week?
I think it's just a little light snow Wednesday night into Thursday morning. I don't
swear
see
to God
a lot
if there's
of
another snow day.
But it wasn't supposed to keep snowing Friday and Saturday or Thursday and Friday like it did. Well, no, Thursday it was. Friday was supposed to be done at like 9 a.m.
Not.
I'm pretty sure I had 5 more inches by the end of the day.
That's right. And there's no warm anywhere. I mean, it's like a high of 38 for the next 2 weeks. Everything's in the 30s. Yeah. So, we're going to annihilate the March 2nd deadline. We're going to annihilate that.
I will
I'm not
say
happy
this.
about it.
It's
at least the sun's out.
This latest batch is melting a lot faster than the previous one because the sun has been out. I'm not talking about the big piles, but I'm talking in general.
Maybe that's on the west side. Not at my house. There's nothing melted.
If you have I'm down to pavement in my driveway.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just saying, like,
I'm not.
I'm looking and, like, things seem to be melting a lot quicker with this batch because it's a little bit warmer. But
I mean, the sun will help.
I'm not saying it still won't be here in April. It will be.
Yeah, it is. I mean, these big piles are going to be here. Yeah. The full day. Yeah. It was pretty much. It was kind of a. You're now in a college basketball. NBA play, all-star game. By the way, great Cavs, 19 straight points in the game yesterday. Acquire Karis LeVert, the kid out of Central Ohio, to
score the basketball.
And score the basketball. He'll be able to run that second team. It's a remarkable core they have. It's a
fun team to watch.
It is a fun team to watch, and one of consequence.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a game out of the East.
Yeah. Homage put this up, now partner in the NFL as well. You can get your Browns Homage gear. They had something about this morning about the Cavs with all the kind of everybody excited about them at the moment and said, which logo do you identify with the Cavs brand? And I think that brand is it's unique in that it could just depend on how old you are. And I don't know another franchise that has kept the same name but has changed colors, look, branding as much as that one has. I mean, they have several different looks. They have the original Cavalier look with the original wine and gold, and then they've got the Mark Price, Brad Daugherty, blue and orange.
Cavs with
with no
ball going into the V basket.
And I don't think that one has any nod at all to Swords or Cavaliers or none, right? It's just Cavs. Cleveland Cavs, yeah. And then there's the Terrell Brandon, Sean Kemp light blue with the wave, black and blue.
Awful.
Then you get the first LeBron.
With orange in there, too.
Yeah, there was orange in there, like black, light blue, and orange.
Yeah, strange.
So you got wine and gold, blue and orange, light blue, black and orange. Then you get kind of a red, blue, and soft gold with LeBron. Like, that's not a maroon or wine. I mean, it was more of a red. Like, if you think about the LeBron.
The first ones?
The first LeBron group. So you have those.
With the Cleveland.
Yeah, across.
Yeah.
Then they go back to the wine and gold, but then they randomly won a championship in black T-shirts.
Black T-shirts with just a C on it.
Yep. And then they've got navy blue sometimes. I don't know. It's a wild. Is there another example of that in sports?
No, and then they had the city jerseys, 2 years ago, that were the gray, yellow, and white, I want to say.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of another brand in sport that has that many different looks and names and incarnations without consistency.
It's a nice catchphrase, though. Let them know.
Let them know. Let them know. I do like that.
People they be knowing.
They be knowing. Yeah, they do. So that's where. Did you have a good weekend, Gibby?
Yeah.
You survive your pub crawl?
You had your pub crawl?
Yeah, did a little line dancing Friday night.
Do we have video?
I was way out of my element.
Do we have video?
No, but I will say this.
I like the sound of this.
Like, you don't just show up and walk in and go, I know how to line dance.
Yeah.
I know how to line dance. I've done this at weddings, all this
Sure.
stuff. Nope, not even close to the same.
There's rules?
There are a lot of rules. There are people that I feel like do this for a living.
Gibby, I don't think that you like to live in a world with rules.
No, he does not want to be encumbered by anything.
Just drink as many Bud Lights as you can. We'll be fine.
I view you a little bit like Jesse Gemstone, heading out to do the line dancing from the Righteous Gemstones when they're at the Texas.
Who's that portrayed by?
That's
is that McBride?
That's Kenny Powers. Yeah. McBride is Jesse Gemstone.
Man's a god.
He's something. He's something like that.
He is.
It is something like that.
Yeah.
Fish with a good one. He points out the White Sox. The White Sox historically have had some different looks because, they had the blue and gray, and then they had the blue and white. Right, that one. They had the shorts. I knew exactly what you're doing as soon as you did that.
They've
been black and white since the 90s, early 90s.
When they dropped that old English one, and then that became like the hardest hat in the world and the hardest logo, and it showed up in pop culture everywhere. If you were to be considered hard, you wore that hat. That was elite.
Was Dre the first one to wear that?
In my mind, Eazy-E, Dre, one of them.
One of them put it
Somebody
on,
from
and then that was
NWA.
it. Yeah.
Ice Cube would.
Oh, I had one for sure.
I 100%
had one. Yeah. Had the Black Sox hat. Yeah,
that's as good as it gets.
So strong.
They still roll it, right?
Yeah, I think it's still their uniform. It's a clean look, the black and the white with the spin stripes, and
By the way, speaking of clean looks and classic uniforms, I saw a tweet over the weekend that said, the Jags should wear these uniforms forever, and it was an old picture of Jimmy Smith where he was in. It was like white pants with like teal and black trim, the teal jersey with the Jaguars on the sleeve, like the running Jaguar on the sleeve.
Oh yeah,
and the black hat. It was.
Yeah,
bring it back.
That. Yeah, wear that.
Like sometimes you just nailed it at the beginning.
Sometimes it's okay.
Just do it.
Don't overthink
More.
it. Just don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it, kids. All right, lots of fun on the program today. We'll go around the league. It seems like we're getting some things locked in on the coaching side of things around the league. Gribbs will join us here in about 20 minutes from now as well, so you have that to look forward to, which is very, very nice. We've got some ratings for you. Have a little fun on a Monday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. We're off and running 8:50 ESPN Cleveland. weather cold outside, a nice hot bath or shower would certainly feel nice. Why not transform your bathroom into a custom bath? It's going to feel like a spa. Let the Bath Authority make this a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler, expert factory-trained installers. Give them a call now, $500 off your next custom bath and shower remodel. Give them a call at 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. It's where affordability meets quality, largest selection of bath projects, all made in the United States for your wet space. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Superior products with expert installers. 216-220-8399 or thebathauthority.com. They can do it for you in about a day. So it appears the Houston Texans are going to hire Lovie Smith. So they paid $20 million for David Culley to go away to hire Lovie Smith. Is this what we're to believe? Who was an internal candidate who would have first been interviewed probably a month ago?
But they said that he wasn't. He was new to the process. As of the first interview,
he was on their staff
Friday.
He was on their staff.
The report.
He was new to the process.
New to the process
as of yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing. And if I'm Deshaun Watson, I really don't want to be anywhere near this organization.
Well, he doesn't anyway. But it also appears now that this is not, or at least there's speculation coming from people I know plugged in, supposedly, to that situation, that this is not what Nick Caserio wants to be doing. This is not who he.
Well, no kidding. It doesn't fit what he would want.
He doesn't want Lovie Smith.
And there was a time, certainly, where Lovie Smith did a great job in the NFL 15 years ago when he was with the Bears. I mean, he got him to a Super Bowl. They played great defense, did all those things. But he toiled it in Champaign at Illinois for 6-7 years. Didn't do anything.
They were happy to pack his bags and drive.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
So what are we doing here? How is this what happens?
What are we doing? How did that happen? Great. I don't know. I don't know how you get to this point unless just nobody else will take that job. And maybe did they want Flores?
They interviewed him.
And they say he's still in the mix.
I think my guess is that everything that's going on with him is too much for them.
Yeah, I guess so. But it just doesn't feel like how you get here.
Like
Culley, what was wrong with Culley?
No, I mean that's what I'm thinking. How great is he for David Culley? You get 1 year and then $20 million, and that's it. I'm out.
Lovie Smith, Eric Bieniemy, someone.
And
Anybody?
It sounds like Bieniemy's going to be in New Orleans, right? It sounds like he's the front runner in New Orleans. Did I read that this morning that Bieniemy was the front runner there?
I haven't seen that, but
okay.
I don't know what.
Yeah, that's the only job left, though, right? Is
Correct.
New Orleans if this Lovie Smith deal happens in Houston, he ends up being the coach there. But I don't know. I don't understand it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to think that you'd be at this spot after all the time that they've been. But it's always been the least appealing of all the jobs.
Yeah, by a mile.
Jack Easterby guy's there, Caserio running it. Like there's no real path. God Lord.
I mean, it's a business day. Look at him. I'm telling you.
Cedar Swag just walked by here. I mean, usually we got layers. He looks like he's, he could be in Jackson
suited and
Hole
booted, as they say,
or Big Sky at any moment, and he could transition from a boardroom to the slopes, or he could be like Rourke. He could be fly fishing. Like all of that's possible. Today he just walks in fantastic bespoke. I mean, he couldn't fit better than what the man's in today. Good job out of him. I can't make sense of it. I don't understand it. The Dolphins hired Mike McDaniel as head coach. So he's been with Kyle forever. Right? And has been with him forever. And so they hire him as their head coach. He is he's the one he's gone, if you're not familiar, he's gone viral a few times because of some of the comments he makes in the pressers that he does. Like he's got a little sense of humor to him. I'll be curious. It's one thing to be brilliant. It's another thing to be a leader of men. You got to try to do both.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how that goes for him.
I know the guys that played for him here very much liked him and thought that he could fit both of those bills. So that'll be interesting to see. But you think about, Kyle, you've got LaFleur in Green Bay. You've got Saleh and the other LaFleur with the Jets. Now McDaniel. And it makes sense why he hired Anthony Lynn to come in and handle the run game aspect of things there with McDaniel leaving. But that's a pretty good tree. And I saw a tweet that said the quality control coaches on the 2008 Texans, when Kyle was the youngest offensive coordinator ever, the two offensive quality control coaches were LaFleur and McDaniel, and the defensive quality control coach was Saleh.
So they all just Yeah, they all went.
Yeah,
they all went with Kyle where he went and away.
Now they're all doing pretty
well. We'll
well.
See.
And if you call
we'll see how they do. I mean,
sure.
like LaFleur's crushed it.
Yep.
He's had Aaron Rodgers. Like if they don't have Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, he'll have to handle that. Salah's in a tough spot with the Jets, and McDaniel will be in a tough spot with Miami. But because Flores won, he's got to win.
Yes, he's got to win. This is though really the Mike Shanahan coaching tree that would have
correct
Kyle,
Kubiak,
McVay, Kubiak. That's a pretty successful coaching tree in terms of getting people head coaching jobs.
It's like the old Bill Walsh tree,
right?
Where except Walsh had a lot of guys who then won Super Bowls, so that's kind of the thing you're waiting on Kyle or on Mike. But I mean, obviously Mike won and Kubiak won, and then McVay's close. He's on the precipice.
He's in his second. Kyle's been in it.
Yeah, so they're getting there. But yeah, it probably is the version of the West Coast. I'm wondering if is it the style of play? Is it the I wonder what it is that people want to touch and have a
must be the style of play, a consistent process and method for installing the style of play you want, and I think it's obviously successful in not only its outcome and its results, but there must be a process thing that they've all learned
that
as
people
well.
Click and
yes.
Ownership likes it when they hear it. They hear about the process and they get excited about it. He's a Yale guy too, so that's another one of those. Another Ivy League coach.
I know this morning on Good Morning Football, Schreggs was saying that the McDaniel basically walked in to his meeting with Miami and had like a giant plan put together. Like, here's how we're going to succeed with Tua as our quarterback. Like,
well, they love. I mean,
I'm going well, and that's easy.
Everybody loves a presentation, right? Organized presentation.
But I guess he just was like, we're going to build around this guy. Like, I know that I can take this guy and I can win with him.
Well, maybe.
And that was the thing with Flores, supposedly.
Yeah.
Listen,
you can.
Want him.
Don't you guys like? You can have those plans and you can have the processes and you can have all of that. But the thing that you also have to have an ability to inspire men. And I'm not saying that Mike can't. He might be able to. Who knows? But I would say that that's something that ought to be questioned. You're not going to question his intellect. You're not going to question. I wouldn't question his processes. I'm sure all of that's great. But just from the fact that he's been around Kyle is one of the brightest minds in all the game. All of those things are positive. But as you've said many times about Kyle, Kyle's a gangster. Kyle played receiver at Texas. Like, he's a dude. Like, you got to have a little of that too.
Yeah.
To inspire men. Otherwise, people look at it and you go, what do you know? What'd you do? That type of thing. So there's a balance there that's got to be struck with some of these things. And there's a lot of these type of hires that are happening around the league. Our old buddy Sashi Brown back in the NFL. He's now the president of the Baltimore Ravens. So he moves to the Ravens front office.
Yeah, replacing Dick Cass, who has been there, I think, 18 years. A long time, very successful president. And for Sashi, was with the Wizards, that organization, for a while, and now back in the NFL. And so it'll be good to see. It'll be good to see him. Honestly, just it's wild. It is a wild. It wasn't news that anybody I think expected to read was that Sashi would be there. And look, he was at a big role in the Jags organization. Obviously, a huge role here, and now a huge role with the Ravens. So it's the guy who's worked now in 3 NFL organizations. Not to mention, in the NBA with the Wizards. Pretty impressive because he started at a very young age with the Jags.
Yeah, certainly. And I think the way that things flipped here quickly, a lot of people want to have that, and they want those processes. They want things that they can trust, and he's someone that ought to be able to do that. I did not know Sashi. I know you did. I didn't know him. He was
very well.
He was before my time, so I did not know him. But for him into the division is pretty wild, to say the least. It is Super Bowl week. Gribbs will join us in studio. We'll get into a little bit of that, some of the bigger stories around the league with Sir Andrew coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. EOX Vantage. EOX Vantage connects core systems that don't talk, from reportings and analytics to insight, decision making, gaining a more complete real-time picture of your business. You can eliminate those Excel nightmares from your processes. You can see your important data in one place, gain real-time insight to make data-driven decisions on performance for role-based visualization dashboards. With EOX Vantage, you can benefit from lower overall costs, better alignment, specific business needs and scalability, deployment, the ease of it, and management. EOX Vantage makes your data work smarter to move your business forward. You're about growth, and your software should be too. With EOX Vantage, it will be. Your company will scale effortlessly. Local presence but global footprint, trusted by some of the world's biggest brands. www.eoxvantage.com. Check them out there. Sir Andrew Gribble joining us here in studio. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great.
Were you into the Pro Bowl? You can tell the truth on this program.
I had prior commitments. I saw what we posted to our social channels, which was good stuff from Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward.
Yeah.
But
little PBU, and then it looked like a pick six, but it's apparently officially scored as a fumble recovery touchdown.
I thought that was very odd.
The ball never touched the ground.
Yeah.
My eyesight.
And then I saw the box score. Not a lot to do for Nick Chubb or anyone that runs the ball for a living.
It looked like
he led the AFC with 17 yards.
It looked like on the line, from what I saw, it looked like the line you just kind of stood up.
Yeah.
The NFC ran it 8 times for 1 yard.
So just play 7-on-7. Like play 7-on-7.
The AFC kind of tried to run it. 21 carries for 52 yards. Just they were not very effective.
Yeah.
But they weren't tackling to the ground, right?
No.
This was a thud.
It was very gentle.
Yeah.
7 interceptions were thrown, though, which I find stunning in a game in which there would be no pass rush whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't know. It is a little test balloon for the NFL's recent expansion markets. Super Bowl in Los Angeles, Pro Bowl in Las Vegas. You saw the Alvin Kamara stuff with the arrest there. And I am curious to see what this week will be like in Los Angeles. They had media day today at the Super Bowl, but it was all conducted via Zoom.
Right.
But I'm told that everything in L.A., like once you get there, is like a normal Super Bowl.
Because there is a radio row, right?
There is a full-on radio row.
Which I didn't understand that.
But
so
media day,
because there's no media
keeping the
day?
players.
They didn't fly in. They're not flying in until Thursday.
But why?
Getting the players to Sunday.
The COVID.
Yeah.
I don't
think they're testing
in 3 weeks.
In the
so
playoffs.
I don't think that they're
Didn't
testing.
seem like they were doing much testing
I don't think we've
in the
tested
playoffs.
in a month. I mean, we haven't had a positive COVID in a month in the NFL. So I think that the testing probably isn't there, right?
Yeah.
Seems like it. I know the NFL experience and stuff. Seems like everything's going to be downtown L.A. And then like the NFL experience is downtown at the convention center and all that. And then just the game is in Inglewood. Everything else is in downtown.
Yeah, and it's obviously this is going to be maybe the beginning of the chatter that'll go into next month too with the Combine. Like, is this going to be the future hub for more events than just the Super Bowl? Because you build this, $4 billion stadium. It's got to do more than just host a 2 teams games and an occasional Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you're going to want to do more with it. But we've all been to L.A. a couple times. It's not the most compact, easy to navigate city.
No.
With this kind of stuff. And the stadium really isn't near much other than the airport.
Yeah, it was a long Uber. At like 3 a.m. when we took our Uber out there, Gibbe. It was not a close trip.
From where to where?
No.
We were basically a little bit even further downtown than LA Live. And
okay.
So we were like, if you know the area, so you know where Staples is, kind of up that hill. We were up that hill, but still downtown.
Okay.
But it was a good,
It's a hike.
A good half hour, even early in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and logistically, it is a total nightmare at SoFi. I guess there's only 1 or 2 public parking lots, and they're charging $500 a space on Sunday.
They did that for the NFC Championship game too.
You can Uber, and it will cost you an arm and a leg. You might cost you $200.
Oh, jeez.
I was trying to tell my dad in classic Pedro fan. I'm like, because the kid asked me, he's like, "Is your dad going to this game, to the NFC Championship?" And I'm like, "No way, no way. There's no way he's." It's like he should go to the game. So I was like, "Dad, you should go. You should go to this game." It's like, "They're not paying those prices. The park is $500." He was upset about it, and then as soon as they lost, he goes, "See, that's why I didn't go to the game."
So that is because I have a few friends from Cincinnati though. They tossed the idea around of going to out there for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And in classic fashion of following a team that loses more than it wins, they just kept thinking, well, what if we spend all this money and you go out there and they lose? And then you just feel you feel weird about it. Like you look at your bank account the next day and
don't you almost have to turn off the faucet on your fandom to a certain extent?
Yeah.
And just say this is an experience.
An experience.
Yes.
If they win, awesome. If they don't, I got to see them play in a Super Bowl, and I got to
be a part of it.
This is a gravy season anyways for the Bengals.
Yeah.
I mean, they never expected to be there.
What an absolute treat for them.
You think about this though from their perspective, from the Bengals' perspective. Look at this. What is he?
He's got. I don't think so. He's got one that he was photographing. There was photography going on, and it was left out. I was like, that's like leaving $1 billion bill if one existed out.
I mean, it's just draped around a box. The
I know.
Sweat hoodie is just draped on a box.
It's flowing off that box like his hair is flowing off of his head.
What? Now it's in an office. We're holding it up. I don't like this.
I don't like
how I feel like this.
What's he doing? You're on the digital side.
I have an idea, but I don't know if I can go too far with it.
Are we going to be happy about it? About how fast and loose we're being with Brad
I don't know.
hoodies?
We'll see. We'll see.
We need that. We need the story off the air.
I was thinking about this from the you say that you were talking about the Bengals and Burrow and house money and all that. You have to think, if you take the kids, you throw a banana in Mr. Fusion, you go back to 1984 and you think about Dan Marino and the Dolphins in year 2, and they probably thought, we're going to be in these for a decade.
Yep.
Oh, look at Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers the year he was a little more into his career, but you haven't.
We'll go forever. I mean, we got a bright young quarterback. We'll go forever.
Slapped by the Niners.
It was a beatdown.
Never to return.
And they never returned. Honestly, for Miami,
Dan Marino.
I think Miami played in maybe one more AFC Championship game and got hammered by the Bills, if I have that right.
Okay.
I feel like the Bills drilled him one time in an AFC Championship game. And I remember Marino's last game, Jacksonville hung like 60 on him.
Oh,
God.
It's tough to watch.
When Jimmy Johnson was there. But you never got close again. Like, these things are fleeting, man.
It's hard. That's why I saw that. Did you see the quote from Mahomes today that he's not going to get over this Bengals loss until they're playing in the Super Bowl again?
Yeah.
And it's like, you would assume, sure, he's been, 4 years as a starter, 4 AFC championships, 2 Super Bowl appearances, only 1 win. You don't go on runs like that.
And things change once
Yes.
Joe starts to make more money and it changes your cap. And that's, I think Mahomes realizes that too. Once his deal really starts kicking in, that their roster is going to be a little bit different and a little bit harder to construct once he's making more money. I mean, that's what he started to do.
Quite.
Yeah, it's interesting. So all of the, but I agree that obviously that Cincinnati's going to get a lot of runs at this with Burrow and Chase, and I think they've got a ton of cap space too coming into next year.
Yeah, they're in one of the best spots in the whole league.
Yeah, so they'll be able to add to their roster and all of those things, and they've drafted really well recently. It's all on L.A. All the pressure's on L.A. I mean, they've mortgaged everything. The picks, all of it. It's all to win. They're at their place. They got to win now. There was pressure to beat San Francisco, so I don't think it's quite that like it was to beat San Francisco. But their model is one that is going to be put to the test this weekend at their place. And you think about it from a legacy standpoint, guys. Burrow wins. He does something that's never been done. Number 1 pick to Super Bowl in 2 years. And his trajectory is now Mahomesian, right? Like
and the Heisman thing, too, right?
Yeah, the Heisman part of it, too. National champ, all that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Stafford wins. Now you start to get into a gold jacket conversation for him.
Yes.
And it almost erases all of the Detroit stuff. And you just say, well, that's just Detroit. As soon as he got out of there, look what happened. So from a legacy standpoint for both guys, it's a game changer.
Yeah. Do you think, though, I think we'll talk about it more, but don't you think, I think Stafford's Hall of Fame candidacy doesn't truly hinge on this game. I think he can get in without it.
I think right now he needs it. I disagree. I think he kind of needs
it. But he would need to play like maybe like 6 or 7 more successful
if they're
seasons
really good,
without the Super Bowl win.
Okay. Yeah. If he plays another 7 years and they're in it a lot and they're constantly there, then I think he
wins this one.
If he wins it, then it's almost like it'd be shocking if he doesn't get it.
Yes, but right now, today, I don't think he's in.
Now he's Rivers.
Well, that's
Rivers,
I think of his career.
Ryan.
But Rivers is going to be an interesting discussion like over these next few years. It's going to be how we like look at his career in hindsight 5 years from now or 5-6 years from now. I think Rivers is always going to be in the conversation because of where he ranks.
Well, I think I think the numbers, though, do they matter like they used to.
He'll be one of the
Because
first
all the
early
games.
tests.
He will be. And he'll be – the problem for him is he's going to be going up against like Eli, who's not going to have the numbers but is going to have the 2 Super Bowls, and he was great in the Super Bowls and has the iconic plays.
So Rivers, 8-time Pro Bowler, 0-time first-team All-Pro, which is probably going to be the case for
A lot of those guys.
anybody not named
Manning,
Brady. Stafford, 1-time Pro Bowl, 0
that's
All-Pro.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, he's got a –
How has Matt Stafford only made 1 Pro Bowl? They're always available for the Pro Bowl to even get in as an alternate.
Do they count it, though, if you're in as an alternate?
Here's
Yeah,
the
they do.
thing.
If you show up and play.
Here's the craziest part.
That's not right, by the way. Right? Like, you're the
Stafford
5th alternate. Like Mac Jones, you're going to look at Mac Jones's Wikipedia 10 years from now and go, oh, my God, he made
Pro Bowler. Stafford's lone Pro Bowl season was 2014. They went 11-5. He threw for 4,257 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 12 picks. Now, what's crazy to me about that is that in 2011 they go 10-6, which would have been their first winning record in forever. The guy throws for 5,038 yards and 41 touchdowns and doesn't make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I don't. Who made it in 2011 in the NFC that would have bumped him out? Rodgers and who else?
I'll look up.
I mean, that's a remarkable thing to have that year, and they won, and he didn't make the Pro Bowl.
I got to imagine there were some opportunities for him to go as an alternate, and he
Probably
declined.
just
Yeah.
said
The
no.
quarterbacks in 2011 in the Pro Bowl were Aaron Rodgers, who threw for 4,643 yards, 45 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. MVP, first-team All-Pro. Drew Brees, who threw that year for 5,476 yards and 46 touchdowns and was second-team All-Pro. And then Cam Newton made it as well, and he was the Rookie of the Year that year. He threw for
awesome
4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, ran for 714 scores. Now,
Oh,
also,
my God, he had 14 rushing touchdowns as a rookie?
Yeah. Apparently they had 4 quarterbacks, though, on both sides of the ledger here, because in the AFC it was Brady, Dalton. Dalton made it as a rookie. I would not have had that in 2011. Phillip Rivers and Roethlisberger made it. Eli Manning also made it that year. He threw for 5,000 yards, 29 touchdowns.
So that must have been the year Peyton was hurt? That he didn't make anything? He had to have been hurt. Had to have been the neck year for him, because the next year he's in Denver and wins the MVP.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, here. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Your Pro Bowl running backs that year: MJD, McCoy, Ray Rice, Marshawn Lynch, Arian Foster, Matt Forte, Frank Gore, Ryan Matthews, Bill McGahee.
Jeez.
Receivers: Calvin Johnson that was your Calvin Johnson was first-team All-Pro, 1,681 yards, 16 touchdowns. Wes Welker that year caught 122 passes for 1,569 yards, 9 touchdowns. From Brady, obviously. Fitz, Mike Wallace, Steve Smith. Remember, Steve Smith had that big year in Cam's rookie year, 1394-7. Off a cliff. A.J. Green,
Miami?
Vincent Jackson, R.I.P., Greg Jennings, Brandon Marshall, Roddy White.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good tight end quartet, though, for Pro Bowlers. Is this the best ever of quartets of Pro Bowl tight ends? Gronk, Jimmy Graham, Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez.
Pretty good.
And then Jermaine Gresham somehow is on the team, too.
3 gold jackets.
One of these is not like the other. Maybe 4 when it's all said and done. I don't know if Graham will make it. I don't know.
But the
other 3 are locks.
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham, only 1 first-team All-Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
But that's when you think about the week that will be there. And this will be interesting because normally you would have a full week of festivities in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
If they're not coming till Thursday, it's not going to have that feel to it. I know a lot of the media is already out there, though.
Yeah, it seems like everything outside of the player stuff is going to be normal. So this is going to feel a little bit more like a Super Bowl than last year did, for sure.
Yeah.
I think with the build-up and with L.A., I think you're just going to have so many more – not that Tampa's a hole in the wall or anything like that, but you have so many TV stations based out there. So many media entities are just based there. It's going to be a home game for all those folks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just going to be so much more incorporation maybe with like late night shows with all that stuff. I mean, it's just going to – I think this is going to feel a little bit more in your face than even Super Bowls before COVID.
The crazy thing is it's a Super Bowl on NBC in an Olympic year.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even thought
and I don't know that that's ever happened, has it?
Tirico will anchor pregame coverage from Beijing on Sunday.
When's that dude? So he's just doing backwards sleeping because he's doing it at night. He's broadcasting at night.
Yeah,
so he's broadcasting in the middle of the night, Beijing time, and he must sleep through the day is what he must do.
Yeah, because they have Lindsay Zarniak doing the daytime back here, which is middle of the night. I saw her on the anchor desk this weekend. But their PR people told us, like, he's doing double duty. He will do Olympics and he will do Super Bowl.
I'm surprised that – I mean, I'm sure it's happened before, but I don't recall it, where NBC has had to double dip the Winter Olympics and the Super Bowl at the same time.
You take it when they give it to you, though.
No
you
question.
Take the Super Bowl.
There's no question. But what they pay for the Olympics,
like
to not have them in prime time one night is a pretty big
that's wild.
It's a big miss. And not only not prime time, you wouldn't have them all day. Because your Super Bowl coverage starts at 2 o'clock or whatever, noon. So it's blown out. You've lost a whole day. You only get 2 weeks. You're probably paying $250 million a day for NBC for Olympics, right?
Feels like a lot.
And you're going to miss a day?
Their sub networks will be doing the heavy lifting that day.
Peacock.
Yeah, they're all the heavy lifting.
They're pushing it. What's your early read on it, Gribbs?
On Super Bowl? I mean, I just keep leaning toward the fact that if I think it's a close game, I can't pick against what I've seen from Cincinnati. I just think that the way they've played, the way they've won games without playing their best football, it just shows that they've got some kind of special mentality going, and they are the hot team at the right time right now. I think that's what it takes, because I think the Bengals next year could be way better in the regular season and not do this in the playoffs next year. They've got the kind of the mojo right now, and I wonder if the week off is going to hurt that at all. But I think close game, I'm giving the advantage to the Bengals, just from what we've seen, because the Rams have been on the other side of this. They've been blowing games or blowing leads and have not been as great.
Without losing. So they haven't played their best game yet. They had a great half, certainly, against the Bucs, and that's the kind of game that could have, when you let them back in, to then be able to go and throw that bomb and beat them.
But have we seen Cincinnati?
Yeah, I don't even think Cincinnati's played a good half, like a best half.
The second half against
offensively.
Kansas City was pretty darn good.
But even
pretty good.
But not the way they were playing in the regular season, though. Like the kind of perfect games they were playing at the end of the season.
Nobody's putting that up right now in this postseason. I kind of think, and this is just an observational opinion, they're kind of letting these teams play defense the way that, like, NFL defense is played in the regular season. They don't. Don't you think that has something to do with it? Like, they're letting guys. It's much more physical in the secondary than it is in the regular season.
The Bengals, the way they played, has thrown off some of my just easy analysis of a game. Like, in any other circumstance, I would say the mismatch between the defensive line of the Rams and the offensive line of the Bengals is enough to just trump any other prediction. But we saw the Bengals win a playoff game by getting sacked 9 times.
Yeah,
I mean, so it may not even matter. Like, with what they do,
they are
pass rush-wise.
so explosive on the edges with Chase that
the Bengals had the perfect path to the AFC Championship game. Like, they didn't have to beat anybody that I thought was really very good
before Kansas City.
Right. To the game. Right. Yeah. Once you get to the AFC Championship, that was a hard game. And look, the Chiefs blew that game. Now, the Bengals did everything they had to do to win that game. The Chiefs absolutely blew that game. That of the first half was absurd.
Yeah.
Those are points that ended up mattering. All the stuff that, they did in the second half that was not good. But it's fun because both of these teams have won games that you would have thought they should have lost or had a potential to blow. And so they've gotten it there. I'd love to see both of them play lights out. It would be great. Now, I think we all equate playing lights out with offense. I do anyway when I say that. I mean clean offensive games. It's going to be fun. That's the matchup, right?
Yeah.
Does that matter? And how disruptive are the pressures? Because it felt like Tennessee in the game. That was the game he got sacked 9 times. They got to him whenever they needed to, but he made a couple big plays, and then Tannehill threw 3 picks.
Yeah. I think if you circle back to the quarterback, to me it seems more likely that Stafford would do something catastrophic than Burrow would. I know that sounds crazy for a guy in his second league.
I don't think that.
I don't know that Burrow – I don't see Burrow throwing a pick 6 and pressure, and I could see Stafford doing that. As much as I like him, I could see him throwing it up.
Burrow was throwing a lot of picks early in the season, and he kind of quietly cleaned that up.
He did?
Yeah, I mean, he was leading the league in interceptions for a while, and then now it's just kind of –
Not now.
Not anymore.
No, not now.
I was just leading the league in coolness.
He had a great line today about advice.
Social media.
Yeah. So good. So
Stay
good.
silent. Let your play
silent.
on Fridays and Saturdays do the talking.
Yep.
Amen, brother.
Rumpke Waste Recycling, family-owned, operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Good talking to you, Gribbs.
No problem.
CBS Sports with the all-time Super Bowl roster. We'll get into that coming up at the top of the hour. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider, your Cleveland Browns. They have all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Gibbe says, welcome to Super Bowl week from CBSSports.com, the all-time 53-man Super Bowl roster. All right, so this comes down to what are we asking for here?
Yeah, what are we
asking for? Who has played best in the Super Bowls? Are we asking for who are the best players?
This is players who have dominated on the biggest stage.
Dominated on the biggest stage.
Yeah, so this is based on their Super Bowl
Well, then Montana's the quarterback.
performances. Super Bowl MVP, so here are the criteria. Super Bowl MVPs, multiple Super Bowl appearances, an advantage. Did their performance significantly contribute on the success of their team? Was their performance critical to the outcome of the game? The quarterbacks are going to be Montana and Brady.
No, there's got to be one, right?
No, it's 53-man roster. It's a full 53.
Oh, it's a full 53?
So they've got Brady as the starter, Montana as the backup, and Terry Bradshaw third.
What I think this is a little bit cheating because 53 is so deep. Like, to me, do the starting lineup.
All right, so let's select our own starting lineup.
I mean, Montana was perfect in Super Bowls. I'm not even a Joe guy, but I mean, he's perfect in Super Bowls. He's 4-0.
3 MVPs.
3 MVPs. Brady's got 7. You can't even wrap your head around that, can you?
5
say
MVPs,
that out loud?
which is a lower rate. Just saying. His MVP rate's lower.
That's never going to be touched. 5 Super Bowl MVPs, 7 Super Bowls.
No, but also some losses. Sad.
He does have the losses. And I enjoy you, so I like Montana as a starter.
All right, so we start Montana there. Running back, Emmitt Smith or Terrell Davis?
Was Terrell Davis – I mean, he was Super Bowl MVP in the one. Emmitt must have been a Super Bowl MVP too. To me, Davis seemed more dominant.
So
just, mind's eye.
Terrell Davis, 321 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in Denver's back-to-back Super Bowl wins. He had 157 in the 3 scores in – so he rushed for 157 and 164
Sold.
in 2 games?
Sold.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I would take that.
Take
well, that's how you view it in your head. That's the way you remember it.
All right, receivers, they've got –
They got Franco Harris as a fullback, by the way.
Can we do
in
that?
what world is he a fullback? Is that like an old school football where
we're still trying to find places for that 70 Steelers?
We love him. I mean, he was great, but he was a running back. I mean,
he is the Super Bowl's career rushing leader with 354 yards and was an MVP.
It seemed like Terrell Davis was right there on rushing yards in 2 games versus 4.
Yeah, he was. You're
seemed like.
Yeah,
I mean, as I was paying attention there, state school. You never know.
Never know. All right, receivers. We've got our options are Jerry Rice, Cliff Branch, Michael Irvin, John Stallworth, Lynn Swann, Julian Edelman. I mean, Rice is obvious.
Irvin feels right to me, and Lynn Swann probably does too. Wasn't he a Super Bowl MVP?
So here's what we've got. Jerry Rice leads all-time leader in catches, yards, and touchdowns. His 215 receiving yards in Super Bowl 23. Super Bowl 23. So Jerry Rice,
good grief.
Is still the single-game record. Flanking Rice's starting lineup is Super Bowl 10 MVP Lynn Swann, 16 catches, 364 yards, 3 touchdowns in his last 3 Super Bowls. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Irvin, 16 and 2 touchdowns and 3 Super Bowl wins, 16 catches. Stallworth, 6 catches for 236 yards and 3 touchdowns in his 4 Super Bowls.
It's a pretty good yards per catch.
Yeah, pretty good yards per catch.
6 for 236.
It's basically 40.
Jeez.
Branch
Just bombs.
Branch caught 3 Super Bowl touchdowns while helping the Raiders win 3 rings in a 7-year span. Edelman, 24 catches, 337 yards in New England's 3 most recent Super Bowl wins, was named the MVP of Super Bowl 53 after catching 10 for 141 and made several clutch catches in the Patriots Super Bowl win over the Seahawks and the Falcons.
Which is the ridiculous catch? Is that against the Falcons where he had the ridiculous catch?
Edelman? Feels like Rice, Lynn Swann, and Irvin might be just the way to go. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Are we giving it to Irv based on just the fact that we like him and you got to have some Cowboys because his Edelman's more impressive?
Irvin's 16
Irvin's not an
catches,
MVP
2
of a
touchdowns,
Super Bowl.
and 3 Super Bowl wins.
Yeah, 16 and 2 touchdowns. Edelman's 24 for 337, 10 for 141, and was a Super Bowl
was an MVP.
Feels like Edelman.
So maybe
Edelman made more big-time catches in the moment. Like Irvin.
So let's put Edelman in the slot, and we'll have Swann and Rice outside.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, tight ends. Gronk
Sold.
And Jay Novacek next.
Gronk. Sold. Too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 21 catches for 271 yards and 3 touchdowns in his 3 Super Bowl wins in New England. So that's 7 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown each game. And then he caught 2 more touchdowns in the 31-9 drubbing of the Chiefs a year ago. God, I forgot that game was so lopsided.
I remember.
I wouldn't have had 31-9.
I wouldn't have had it that. I would have had it 30-something to something in the high teens.
Yeah.
In my head.
Or like 34-20.
He got. I do remember Mahomes just helpless, running for his life. The offensive line is interesting. It's like his starting offensive line is all old dudes. It's Art Shell, Gene Upshaw, Mike Webster, Larry Little, Forrest Gregg.
Everybody's old. Even the
most recent guy is
Orlando Pace,
right?
Yeah.
Orlando Pace, Nate Newton, Tom Nalen, Mark Schlereth, and Anthony Munoz.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, with those, you're not
Who
gonna,
knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
All right. Defense.
Sure, they were all great.
Yeah.
Feels like there would be more. To me, it feels like just a quick offensive line in homage to the great Hoff. A small offensive line conversation. It feels like there should be more 90s Cowboys.
Yeah, so you got Nate Newton.
Or even the 80s football team, Redskins at that time.
Larry Allen.
I mean, their whole things were based on those offensive lines.
Is that Forrest Gregg?
No, there's nobody.
Oh, he was on the Dolphins.
Forrest Gregg was on the Packers way back. Little the Dolphins, Webster Steelers, and then the 2 Raiders.
Yep.
Upshaw and Shell. Schlereth, obviously, with the Broncos. Munoz speaks for himself. Nalen, Newton, Pace. Yeah, I don't know. Feels like there should have been.
I mean, Munoz never even won a Super Bowl. Not that it wasn't his fault, obviously.
No. As a quick aside, is it fair that the only position in football that you are either your legacy is either added to or detracted from based on Super Bowl efficiency quarterback? Like, you don't have a conversation around the greatest linebacker of all time if they don't win a Super Bowl. It's not like, oh, yeah, but he didn't win a Super Bowl. But quarterback, if you didn't, it's like we can't even have a conversation.
You could not be a first ballot Hall of Famer like the Hoff as a quarterback who never went to the playoffs.
No chance.
Right.
No chance.
None. Well, because, frankly, that's because of the impact that the position has on the game.
I get it.
Right?
But it wasn't always that way.
Sure.
Because, I mean, this was a running back heavy sport for much of this.
Sure.
Much of the league's history, it was running back heavy, and it was still held against quarterbacks and still just given to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You think about Bradshaw. We talked about Aikman last week.
Yeah.
Those are instances where they are elevated by quarterbacking Super Bowl teams. And I don't know if that's the case at other positions. A little bit with those 70 Steelers, is their entire rosters.
So here might be a reason why some of those red Washington football team guys didn't make it. Is Riggins was the MVP of the previous year's Super Bowl, but then when they had to play against Reggie Kinlaw, was saying the Raiders defense held Wilbert Montgomery and John Riggins, the MVP of the previous year's Super Bowl, to a combined 110 yards on 42 carries, 2.62 yards per carry. So maybe their loss, they didn't perform up to snuff in their losses. I don't know.
Yeah,
trying to come up with something. But
yeah, all right.
If John Riggins was the MVP,
feels like
of
they
a
would
Super
have had
Bowl,
some success.
I'm kind of surprised, aren't you? By the way, going back to the running backs, Riggins doesn't get mentioned. Neither does Marcus Allen. Didn't Marcus Allen single-handedly win a Super Bowl, the longest run in Super Bowl's history?
The greatest run in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, in 83, 82, 83, whichever Super year it was.
Yeah, that was against Washington.
Yeah,
where he went back and I don't know. All right, defensively.
D-line, you've got at the ends, Reggie White and Richard Dent are the starters with Bruce Smith and L.C. Greenwood as the backups. Bruce Smith, I wonder what he accumulated here. Reggie White, NFL's career sack leader, 3 sacks in Green Bay's win over New England in the Super Bowl. Green was the anchor of 4 Super Bowl championship defenses in Pittsburgh as a defensive tackle. It'd be Mean Joe Green. His interception and fumble recovery helped the Steelers become the second team to shut out an opposing offense in the Super Bowl. Randy White, another one of the defensive tackles, was the co-MVP in Super Bowl 12.
Yep.
Dent's 1.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles earned him MVP honors in Super Bowl 20. Smith, Page, and Greenwood each played in 4 Super Bowls. Smith recorded a safety. Greenwood's 3 deflected passes helped neutralize Fran Tarkenton, and a year later he sacked Roger Staubach 3 times in Pittsburgh's win over Dallas. Warren Sapp's presence contributed to Tampa's rout of Oakland in Super Bowl 37.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. You try to think of others who would be in that mix.
Yeah.
Those guys were pretty good. Who was it last year for the Bucs that had the? Oh, those are the linebackers.
The linebackers
were great, and for the Bucs, it was the two linebackers.
So in this one though,
that was the Super Bowl 20 when the Bears won. It was like they just had to figure out. It was such a domination. It was like, well, you got to be somebody on the defense. Who's it going to be? And it was Richard Dent on that defense. So
number 95, is that right?
Yeah,
he was a good player.
Yep. Yeah, finished with the Niners.
With the Niners, as I say, spent some time with the Niners.
Yep. Finished with the
linebackers, they've got on the outside, which are, again, pass rushers, LT, Charles Haley, Von Miller, and Jack Ham.
Jeez, I mean, this is a ridiculous linebacking group.
And then on the inside, you've got Ray Lewis, Jack Lambert, Singletary, and Nick Buoniconti.
It's a ridiculous linebacker group.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to poke holes in any of that.
No.
That's pretty good.
No, pretty good. Pretty good. Von Miller was Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowl 50, 2.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. I didn't realize that. He won the MVP that year. Well, that's when Peyton
couldn't throw it.
Yeah, he wasn't.
I mean, if you were probably if you were going to put a team together, you would have Von Miller and Lawrence Taylor. If you were going to go 3-4, you'd have Miller, and then that looks like what they're doing here.
They
got 4-4.
What about Chuck Haley? If we're talking purely Super Bowls, guys won 5, 4.5 sacks in the 5 Super Bowl wins. First player to ever win 5, and he had 4.5 sacks.
But I mean, to me, Von Miller, I mean, he's the MVP of the Super Bowl. I love Chuck Haley too, but Von Miller's the MVP of the Super Bowl, and the other one's Lawrence Taylor.
In Super Bowl,
so you can't. Lawrence Taylor might be the greatest player ever.
In Super Bowl 27, his sack force fumble of Jim Kelly, this is Charles Haley, set up a touchdown by teammate Jimmy Jones as Dallas took the lead for good. Now, what's interesting is the note on Taylor, which makes me wonder what he did. Player revolutionized the linebacker position. Taylor's tackle of John Elway in Super Bowl 21 was part of a crucial goal line stand by the Giants, but it doesn't say anything about sacks or.
Well, they whipped him. They whipped that Dolphins team, and Lewis was great in his appearances, both of his Super Bowls with the Ravens. He was great. I assume Lambert was too. I don't remember those games obviously, but I'm assuming he was great. At corner, Mel Blount, Richard Sherman, Lester Hayes, Deion Sanders, and Herb Adderley. I got nothing on Herb. Obviously Prime would be in there.
Yeah. So Herb Adderley won Super Bowls with both the Packers and Cowboys, had a 60-yard pick six in Green Bay's win over Oakland in Super Bowl II. There you go.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I mean, look, Mel Blount, Prime, Richard Sherman, Lester Hayes. I just think for depth, you got to throw Malcolm Butler on there. The guy made the most clutch play in Super Bowl history. Like, I want him on there.
It's probably one of the greatest. Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the greatest plays ever.
Like, you need to have a pick right now. Okay.
Yeah. I'll read it perfectly. I'll jump the route.
I practiced it once in practice.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good. But the others all make sense in terms of what they did. And the safeties that's the easiest safety. I mean, that could be the NFL all-time safety room. Lott and Ed Reed.
Yeah, you have to get, and then like Chuck Wood needs to be in there somewhere. Poor Chuck Wood.
Well, he would be like the third
at halftime in his only Super Bowl win.
Yeah, at least he got that win though, because he didn't.
Yes.
You saw the tuck thing last night a little bit.
I didn't watch it, but I saw that there's a whole documentary.
It's
about
a 30 for 30 on the tuck game, and
I
just watched for a little while because I'm just kind of fatigued of Brady, and this is very clearly from the Brady perspective. So it's him and Charles Woodson playing pool, talking about it, and Brady is interviewing Woodson. And he goes, "If that call would have gone that way, how did you envision? It was almost like, hey, I got all this. How would it have been different for you had you won?" And Chuck Woodson goes, "Well, I mean, I think we would have won the Super Bowl." And Brady's like, "Really? You think that?" And it's like, "Well, yeah, I do.
Of course,
you won it, bozo,
and
we
won it.
We
beat you,
and we would
fair
have
and
just
square.
beat you. So yes, I do. I do think we would have done that."
Didn't Brady say too that if that had happened and they lost that, he thinks that Bledsoe's starting in the next year?
It's an incredible sliding doors moment because, I mean, it wasn't as if Brady was a game manager at that point.
Yeah.
And it's not until that drive to end that Super Bowl where they get the kick, that he makes some big throws and they get the kick to win it, that he's kind of – now all of a sudden that's the famous all of it. Right. So it's a I don't know. I didn't watch it because I had some fatigue, but I have it in the hopper to watch when I'm needing some football at some point during the winter. But yeah, I mean it's an incredible sliding doors. But yeah, you do an all-time safety team, you're gonna do a lot worse than Lott and Reed.
Yes. Yes.
Two of the very best. And two of the coolest, by the way, ever to do it.
Also true.
Good stuff there. That's a good job out of them. A lot of great moments in those Super Bowls throughout the years. Coming up next, Ohio State talking about their field turf. Oh, you love that. A little bit of golf at Pebble. We'll get into that. Super Bowl cities ranked as well. We get to our rankings on that. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Gambling without setting limits on how much you're going to wager or how long you'll play is like a football team going into a game without a game plan. It's probably going to end up at a loss, so always set limits before you bet. Get more tips like this at keepitfunohio.com. Ohio State, they're doing a Design the Field Turf contest. I don't know why they don't put grass in down there. And I know people will say, oh, it's below the water table, but lower.com field, which would be similar from a water table standpoint, they have grass there where the crew play at the new stadium. I have no idea why they don't put grass in at Ohio State, because I think it would actually be a selling point in recruiting. People are getting smarter and smarter about playing on grass versus turf.
That's better for you.
It's much, much better for you. And for whatever reason, they're gonna keep it in the turf.
You would think like at some point we'd be done with turf. Like we
hope so.
We can figure out how to grow grass indoors, I would imagine.
It's obviously it's cost prohibitive, but I don't know. Yeah, you feel like you could do those lamps, and even in domes, you ought to be able to do it as long as you have drainage.
Right.
You ought to be able to do it and grow it in there. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. That
Well,
we're still
especially
that
because
way.
you're seeing significant
Correct.
injuries that occur on turf that do not occur on grass.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a difference.
Yeah.
Are we are we in the same? Do we now have our field look? Is that it? Because I know we've changed our field look at First Energy a couple of times through the years in terms of the end zones and what it's going to look like. Is that a year-to-year thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some teams that just have the same one all the time,
Always.
and other teams mix it up year in and year out. Which is your favorite of the ones we do?
I like this year's with the old school 2-bar face mask, Browns helmet, and the old, kind of that old school look to it. I also liked a couple years ago when we had those cool stripes when it was just like the orange and black stripes in the end zones.
For the
Color
rush ones. Yeah.
I would love to bring back though. This is just me personally. I think I like something at midfield. I like a midfield something. So
like there.
Right. So that's got the helmet. That's 2014 that we're looking at there. I'd put Brownie there because I think that's like just a cool.
Yeah.
He's just cool.
Yep.
So throw a Brownie at midfield and away you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I like the one that was the script Cleveland Browns, one on each. I like those ones a lot. I think those look really clean. I like the old AFC too.
Yeah, where it says
the AFC.
Yeah,
the Chiefs have that. They have that red A.
Yeah,
in the end zone. I think those are cool when they.
Didn't we have that this year with the when we had the throwback 2-bar helmet in there? Did we have the A? The Niners used to have the big blue,
big N.
Yeah,
with
the
I think
2-bar
that's cool.
Niner
I like
helmet.
that.
I love that.
Yeah,
I'm all for that.
It's possible that I just think everything was cool when I was young.
Also true. There's nostalgia.
It's a powerful.
It's
a powerful emotion. It's nostalgia, as Don Draper would tell you. Very, very powerful. But yeah, I think there's a lot of cool things that you can do with it. But I love the fact that it's grass here. I mean, that's such an incredible win that you're not like in the NFL that if you can grow it outside, you do.
Which also means that you can grow grass in very extreme conditions because that's what we have here. So I just think every dome should be built like the one in Arizona where you've got the track that can just the grass grows outside and then you bring it on in.
Well, what are you doing? I mean, even in the cold climates like Minnesota or Detroit or Chicago when they get theirs, like you ought to be able to grow grass there.
Yeah.
And there's those lamps, like there's ways to do it. You got to sort that out.
Yeah.
And figure out how to do it.
I'm pro-grass.
So Ohio State's trying to do this with field turf. Look, I don't really care what they do. The only thing – well, I shouldn't say that. What I would say is just use gray. I mean, you're the men of scarlet and gray, so just have gray in it. Like
and
currently they have red end zones with red and black script. Like the gray is what separates you. There's a lot of red and blacks. Use the gray. Embrace it. Embrace the gray.
Yeah.
I did watch a little of the golf. We talked about it a little bit earlier.
So
I did watch
beautiful.
a little of it. It's intoxicating this time of year. There's a time for me, I guess it probably depends on the mood, where it feels like an escape, and then other times where it just feels like punishment.
I turned it on. I did not turn it off because it was tight down the stretch, and I was enjoying watching the golf, but it felt very much like, listen, dummy. There's plenty of good stuff.
Dummy.
Yeah, there's plenty of good stuff going on in the world.
Do you think now was this a big-time field?
It was pretty good. I mean, you had Spieth. Cantlay was right there.
Yeah.
Tom Hoagie ended up winning it, who was a guy that was on my fantasy team 3 years ago.
But some of those guys are in – some of the big guys were in Saudi Arabia or whatever.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. What you were talking about with the pay for play. But, I mean, yeah, you still had there's some players of note, no doubt.
Yeah. I saw Bill Murray with the backwards putt where he didn't even look at it and made it.
Legend.
Did you see Spieth off the cliff? That's really
I did. I saw a still of it.
That's the big one.
I didn't see the video of it, but
So
I saw
that had to be on
a
number
still.
8, right? That was on number 8?
Yeah, that's 8.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally put his life on the line for it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that one tails off.
Yeah.
And then you're hitting up and across.
Yeah, he would have fallen into a crevasse.
Yeah.
But I saw a funny meme that was about the Greenskeeper Association saying that we have a guy who does that every day, mows that grass
Sure he
right
does.
up to that cliff. So
Goes right up to it. Yeah.
he's not being lauded as a hero.
No.
Spieth's making millions to do this.
That's true. Yeah, his feet were on stable ground. It's not like you follow
Yeah,
your
but
shot.
if he followed through and lost, it's got to
You
be
have to really follow your shot, though, to go over.
Yeah.
You
It's
know.
not like one of the ones where you're hitting up a slope from a lake where you go and then for some reason you fall back into the lake like people do because they reverse pivot.
Yeah.
That's always a treat.
Yeah,
You get to see those
those
videos.
are fun. You guys have been out there. You've been to Pebble, right? I know you have.
I've been out there. I have not played Pebble before.
No, but you've.
I played Spyglass, which was awesome.
What, Gibby, you been out there in one of the trips out west?
No, I have not, unfortunately.
Oh.
It's crazy little enclave. Carmel, Monterey,
Spyglass.
Big Sur, all of that, those areas. It's stunning. It's the most stunning geography you'll ever find. But like, when I was there, I was like, so we were in Big Sur, and then we went into Monterey and Carmel and all that. And when you go in there, and I was like, do you even feel like you're part of the rest of the world here?
No.
You can't. There's no way. Like it's sunny and 66 every day, year round, and it's pretty remote.
Yeah, there's not
a way. There's not a freeway running through the yard. You know, I mean, it's tough to get there. It's Pacific Coast Highway.
Living in Reseda.
That's right.
All
Good
right.
pickup out of you.
So outside of Pebble, what's the one course there that should get a PGA Tour stop or that you'd like to see?
Well, Cypress, but
Cypress,
they'll
but
never
they'll
let
never
anybody do it. So they used to be part of this. Cypress used to be part of this, of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and then there was a membership, some sort of a membership
It used
discrimination
to be at one
thing,
point,
so they pulled it out of it.
It was Pebble, Cypress, and Poppy Hills.
Could be.
And then Spanish Bay's been in the mix at some points,
Yeah.
and so has Spyglass.
They're all stunning. I mean, they're all great.
Spyglass is elite.
But just going
That's
back
a
to what
tough
we've
golf
been
course.
talking about with the PGA needing to play some
Cypress
courses that you don't always see.
Yeah, I mean, like to see pros play at Cypress. So if you drive around, what is it, 11-mile road or whatever, 7-mile, what's it called? The road around Monterey Peninsula where Pebble Beach is. I think it's like the 11-mile highway or whatever it is. You drive around there and you see Pebble and you know, whatever. But then you drive by and you wouldn't even know that Cypress Point is there.
Yeah.
There is a wood sign that's this big that has branded in it Cypress Point, and I'm pretty sure it says member only. That's it. And that's it. There's no other marking for the place. The only other thing I think you can see about Cypress, and correct me if I'm wrong, Z, is I think you can see their driving range.
And you can see the one tree.
Yeah, the lone cypress. But that's it. Like you really can't see that course. And you feel like you drive around the whole peninsula and you can't really see it. But that would be the one.
They were showing the lone cypress on the broadcast a little bit. It's tethered.
I think that would be kind of cool. Instead of playing Pebble for 4 straight days, if you played all.
Well, they do. They play multiple courses.
Yeah. I mean, but I'd love to see a U.S. Open at Cypress or something like that at there, a place that we just, that you hear about all the time, but you never get to see. Like I guarantee Nance is a member at Cypress. He's cruising over there. He's not going to deal with the public of Pebble.
I don't have time for that.
He's not doing that. He's not going in a 6-hour round.
The tournament will utilize a 3-course rotation after using only 2 in 2021, Pebble Beach, Spyglass, and then the Monterey Peninsula Country Club. So it's evolved over time. They used to also play Poppy Hills, used to also be involved. So did the Links at Spanish Bay and Deer Point. So did Cypress Point. I mean, there are a lot of good golf courses. And then Old Del Monte is...
The town is so small, though.
So small.
It's so small. Like what's crazy about the wealth that's concentrated there is it's always, many of them are probably second homes.
Yep.
Because there's no industry. I mean, there's nothing.
So,
and it's been that way forever. Now you can work from home and all that stuff, so maybe it's more tenable to live there. But forever, it's been like this.
So it was Pebble Beach every year, 47 through present. Spyglass from 67 to 76, and then 1978 through present, so 52 times. Cypress Point from 47 to 1990. And then when Cypress Point dropped out, it was Poppy Hills from 91 to 2009. And then Monterey Peninsula, the shore course, picked it up in 2010. And so it was 2010 through present at the Monterey Peninsula Country Club shore course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Highly recommend going out there. That was, I think we did that first anniversary. We did Santa Barbara. We stayed in Santa Barbara.
What a lovely
drove
place.
up Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah, PCH.
The Hearst Mansion. That thing is crazy. Stopped there, and then we stayed in Big Sur and then flew out of Monterey. That's a win. That's a win, dog. All right, we will
Episode
rank
done.
our favorite Super Bowl cities coming up next. We were lucky enough to be at a few of these joints. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elk and Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Gibby, you want us to draft our Super Bowl cities?
Yeah.
Top three? Do we want our top three Super Bowl cities?
Yeah, top three.
Are you involved in this as well?
I can
be.
be.
A three-man
Yeah,
draft?
be in it.
A three-man draft, Gibby?
Sure.
Gibby, you can have the first pick. You can have the first pick in the draft.
Oh, no, I'll screw it up. You guys
Go ahead, Z.
I'll go first then. Yeah, that's easy for me. And I'm going to go ahead and select Scottsdale, baby, Glendale, Arizona. Number one, because where else would I rather go? Nowhere.
Nick, give us a little traveling.
So the only thing. So how
Are we
viewing
judging this
from?
based on to go for a Super Bowl?
Is it basing
Right.
like we're going as fans to go to the Super Bowl and we have carte blanche, or are we going as to go cover it, or are we going as if the Browns were in it, this is a city we'd like to be in?
Good questions. All
Because I think I can answer differently on all three. Because if I'm covering it, I would never go to Scottsdale, ever.
No, but if I'm vacationing,
It's a
knowing
nightmare.
that Ohio State.
Oh, it's awful. You
It
stay in
was-
Scottsdale, you
logistically,
spend
it
your
was a
whole time
nightmare.
driving back and forth.
a lot of driving. but
Totally
if I'm not
sucks.
covering, if I'm just
But if
vacationing,
you're just going and it's
All
a
right, so
vacation,
do you want to go as a fan?
or if the Browns are in the Super Bowl, what cities would you like us to be playing in a Super Bowl in? And we take CBD on the road,
Scottsdale.
then that's a different. That's
Yeah.
a different. Those are all different parameters that I'm going to go off of.
I feel like if we're at a Super Bowl that I'm working in Scottsdale, I'll have a Stevie to drive.
Definitely going to have a Stevie. It's his home turf.
Yeah. That's right.
Have a home turf.
I had a nice Twitter exchange that involved me, Stevie, and Amy Trask over the weekend.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Oh wow, that's a quite the triangulation.
Yeah, quite a trio.
Yeah.
I am open to however you guys want to.
How do you want to do it? What do we want to do? Do you want to go? We're going as fans. We're going to work it.
How
or
about
we're
we do
going to
3
the
different
CBD?
angles? Why don't we each take a different angle?
Okay.
With
Well, no,
3
because
people.
it would be. I thought aren't we doing it so we don't use the same ones up?
Draft.
It's a draft. He wants to do
All
a
right.
draft.
So all right. So we're going. The Browns are in
Okay.
Okay.
because that way there's a little bit of fun. There's a little bit of work.
Yeah.
It's the best of both worlds.
Scottsdale. I still draft Scottsdale.
I would do. All right. I would go New Orleans 1. And I would go New Orleans 1 for everything except if I were going as a fan. If I was working it, I would go New Orleans. If we were doing Browns Daily, I would do New Orleans because it would be pure joy. I like the idea of one hotel. I never have to get into a car.
Yep.
And
That's
I
a
can eat
part of New
great.
Orleans.
And I don't have to and you can have all the fun you want to have, all the great food you want to have. I think it's the perfect city for 3 or 4 days, no more. But so I'll go New Orleans would be my number 1.
Okay.
Give it.
I'm going through my list of cities here. Can we do stadiums that no longer exist?
Sure. Your world, give it.
I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go a little Pasadena, a little Rose Bowl.
Okay.
I
Well,
want
you
the
could tie that into
pageantry.
you could tie that into LA too. You could either one. You could do SoFi.
I have no interest in SoFi whatsoever.
Back at the Rose Bowl.
Like,
Fair.
I cannot be like logistically for us for a regular season game to get in and out of there was a nightmare.
So
And I won't tell you what the nickname is for that place that the employees that work there call it.
not on the air. You won't.
No, you won't.
So I'm thinking about in this Super Bowl, you're going to be. This will be much like not quite as much driving as a Arizona Super Bowl.
No.
But you would be set up. So if we did CBD, if we're on the road, CBD would be done at LA Live.
At LA Live, and we'd stay in a hotel
And you'd
there.
stay in a hotel there, and you'd be in downtown LA, which is fine. But I mean, it's not where you want to be. You don't want to be in downtown. You'd want to be on the beaches. And in Scottsdale, everything would be set up. I'm sure the NFL sets everything up in Scottsdale.
Yes.
And then you really don't have to go all the way
Except
out
for the
there
game.
until the day of the game. So
Which
you
is
just
fine.
Which
It's
is
a win.
fine. So it's just the one day where you'd have to go out there, unless you have some sort of overzealous producer who's saying, in my old TV days, "Oh, we need you standing in front of the stadium." Hey, dummy, it's an hour.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Maybe we just put me in front of a cacti.
Yeah, great.
How
There's
about
plenty of
that?
those.
With a sunset
That conveys
and
it.
Camelback Mountain in the background.
Glorious.
My biggest win in local television. They were trying to send us out there, and I went to the news director. I said, "What are we doing? Do you think anyone wants to look at a spaceship?" They want to look down valley. They want to see the sunset. They want to see pools and cactus and camelback. What are we doing?
Yeah, they don't want
and
to
the
see
media hotel for the Fiesta Bowl is the JW Marriott Camelback,
That's beautiful.
which is gorgeous.
Yeah. We checked it out as a potential wedding venue.
Yeah. And they got a BLT steak there.
Yeah, lovely.
Fantastic. You get your own Adobe.
Oh, yeah.
All right, sorry. You're up.
So this is just because of just the now this after I went one that was just purely based on gloriousness. This one is based purely on ease, and you took New Orleans, which I think had a good combination of all. This one is the worst weather, but Indy, I had a great time at that Super Bowl. You could walk everywhere. It's a great town for that. It really is. Everything, like you said, never need to get into a car. One hotel, get to everything you need. We do it in the combine, and the weather's not an issue for me, so I'm just fine there. So I'd go Indy second. I enjoyed my time there.
Yeah,
You
it's
took mine.
it's so great.
Logistically, it's set up for success.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
From a I think from a Super Bowl situation, from an event town, New Orleans is the number one because of everything it has. The only thing Indy doesn't have is weather.
Yep.
That's it. It's got everything else that you want, and the ease is certainly there. All right, number 2 for me. I'll go Miami, and I'll probably the key here would be, so if we're doing CBD, like
We've got to be set up.
we
at the
got to be
Clevelander.
in at the Clevelander. We're in Miami Beach.
Yes.
So I'm assuming we're staying in Miami Beach,
Yes.
which is not really my cup of tea, but I can get to
It's a
my
bit of
cup
a
of tea.
scene.
I'm not too old for that, but I can get to where I need to pretty quickly from
Yes.
there. Great meals, great weather, a little bit of beach, a little bit of sun. Terrible stadium
Horrible
location.
and horrible to get. Yeah.
Brutal. I mean,
Brutal.
just awful. The idea they put that stadium there. But it's January. We have 3 feet of snow, sun, sand, Miami.
I'm going retro.
All right.
They're going to build a new stadium overnight. We're going to host another Super Bowl. San Diego.
San Diego.
That's a nice call, Gibby. Gibby, you really seem to like Southern California.
He really does. Thrives there.
My last one, and I'm going off of just available, things that have happened recently. Now, I bet I wasn't there for it, but I bet Minnesota was probably pretty nice. Probably has some of the
It's got the
indie vibe.
very similar vibes. You can't walk to the stadium,
Okay.
but everything else you would have that. I
Yeah.
mean, because they have all those tunnels to take you. You never
Yeah,
go
right.
outside.
Never go
Super Bowl, it was interesting. The Media Hotel and Super Bowl Radio Row was out at Mall of America.
Oh, that's right, Mall of America.
Yeah.
So no, you're not. Then you'd be out there.
You're out there, but there's a lot to do.
There is, but
And-
you'd want to be.
Yeah, and you have the train system. The transportation system is pretty easy to get around in.
Yeah.
And the stadium is, I mean, it's as good as it gets.
Yeah. So you went.
So
what
I'm
did
not
you
going to
do?
take Minnesota. I was just throwing it out there, but I bet it's probably pretty nice. I'm going to go Tampa just because, again, it's Florida. Tampa, you can kind of stay down in that one area where the nice hotels were.
Probably be Ybor City, wouldn't you be? Is that where you'd be?
You'd
set
be
up
right
in
where
Tampa?
you'd be in the hotel. Honestly, it's the hotel that we stay in, which is a great hotel right
that
by
the
the river.
JW?
Yeah, I think it's JW Marriott. That's where it's always the
Yeah,
Super
there's
Bowl
always
hotel.
that downtown.
Yeah.
waterfront or
area.
And then you're kind of right there. You can walk to a bunch of stuff. It's easy to get around where you want to go in Tampa.
Yeah.
Nice weather. Decent.
Yeah.
I'll take Tampa third.
Dallas is a disaster.
Oh, the worst.
The worst.
I was
ever.
I was there for that.
Yeah.
The worst.
It's no good. It's no good. Northern California.
No.
I love California, but I don't want to be. I don't.
Santa
that doesn't-
Clara?
Santa
No.
Clara is not a fit.
Mm-mm.
I think I go Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play. Is going to be my third choice. I like
Love
Atlanta, the
Atlanta.
city. Great food. I mean the party would be sensational. 3 downtowns, lots of options for entertainment. Ease of getting around is pretty good there. I'll go Atlanta third.
Yeah.
Not leaving me with a lot of options.
No, it goes away pretty quickly.
It really does.
The reason why there are so few.
I
Yeah.
would go Minneapolis except for the weather. Like,
Yeah, but I think it's.
I don't want to leave here to go somewhere worse.
Yeah, it's like 50 degrees in my dad was telling me last. It's like 50 degrees in Montana this week, all week
What?
in the 50s.
It's supposed to be in the 40s here by Wednesday.
I thought you said it was snowing this week.
Yeah, I thought you had snow.
yeah,
Gibby.
Wednesday and then Wednesday night into Thursday,
Yeah.
snow.
What Here's one though that I think will be fascinating when they do it. Will be Vegas.
Vegas, I would be fine.
I would have had
Put
Vegas
that on
in
there,
mine.
Gibbe. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm curious to see what people think about how they get around. So it goes from here. So we've got SoFi this year, back to Scottsdale next year, then Vegas, then back to New Orleans. I mean, they're telling you right there. That's the top. It went. The last few years have gone Miami, Tampa, LA, and then the next three looking forward: Scottsdale, Vegas, New Orleans.
I mean, you can basically rotate Las Vegas, New Orleans, L.A., Scottsdale, those four, and they'll put Atlanta. They'll get back in the mix because they got a new stadium. But, I mean, that's where it's going to be.
Yeah.
Do you guys think you'll see another Northern Super Bowl?
No.
Chicago, if they get a dome? That would be the one. But it's going to be a hike if it's out in the suburbs.
Yes. And
yeah, I bet Indy
no
gets
way.
another one.
I was going to say, if they take the combine away,
They might give
I
them a
could
Super
see
Bowl.
them
Yeah.
throwing them a bone.
And they
giving them a
crushed
Super
it.
Bowl.
It's great there. It was
They
great.
crushed the
was
Super
great.
Bowl. Absolutely crushed it.
Lovie Smith to the Texans, by the way, per Adam Schefter.
It's official.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll never I can't believe they played the one in New York and then the weather was
Oh.
great.
But
Isn't that
that's
crazy?
New York's It's
No, and it's your jersey.
rotten.
Yeah, it's no good. Nothing you want to do there. I don't even know where you'd set up. Like Times Square? Is that where they had everything?
Everything was in New York City. It was in Manhattan.
In Manhattan, which is
Oh, nightmare.
like when we go, we stay in those ones that are right on in Jersey
City or
yeah,
Hoboken.
nice
probably.
hotels, wonderful. That's where
Yeah.
WrestleMania set it up, but it's not great.
No. All right, there you go. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Buying or selling a home with Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, always a winning strategy. If you plan to make a move this season, they're going to have you covered. At Howard Hanna, every day is game day. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. What do you got on the slate tonight? Is this a bachelor night for you? Are you still in that? Locked in?
It's going. I'm not locked in at all. No, I'm going to hopefully we only have 2 Yellowstones to go. So
I look forward to a conversation about what you think about
how it ties
this.
it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
what you think of this
You
fourth
get
season.
a lot of my thoughts in
then you're gonna
rather
get
real time.
Well, where I get them is what it usually ends up happening is because you stay up later than me, so what usually ends up happening is that what I see first thing when I wake up in the morning is
Some thoughts.
the exploits of what happened from the night before.
Yeah.
So I do look forward to that. Yeah, and then you'll get into Ozark.
Yeah, that's coming right next. So
Yeah.
very exciting about that.
I did the wife a favor, so I'd put her through Yellowstone and Ozark and all this blood and mayhem. So HBO had has a show, The Gilded Age, about kind of like the early 1880s, Andrew Carnegie,
Yep,
New York. So I watched that, loved it.
it's good.
Pretty good. It's a pretty big change of pace from
Probably.
the rest of this stuff, but the stakes aren't quite as high. But it's fun.
Right.
All right, we're back tomorrow for more fun. The next level is next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.